Hi, Kids Rock Junior. Guess what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is our Remember and Celebrate. Woohoo! So, tomorrow's going to be a fun one. This one is tech heavy and it is storyteller heavy. So, I hope and pray that this video is helpful and beneficial for you. So, if you have time while you are listening to me chat, if you go to the Remember and Celebrate in our packets, the focus is going to be on the Feast of Pentecost or the Feast of Harvest. And so it's remembering and celebrating God's provision. So there is an activity that we could do during the free play time. Once we transition over from the game room and we come into here, if you look at the small group section, option 1, it's time to celebrate. I thought, oh, this is perfect because I already have all of this stuff. So, let me just read what it says here. It says, as God's people gathered to remember and celebrate his provision, they shared meals together. During the Feast of Harvest, the Jewish people celebrated the abundance of God's blessings. So it's kind of having them create a visual representation of a huge, table, like a feast. So I thought this would be super cool. So what we could do at the front of the stage, we can take my butcher paper here and we can roll it out. Don't mind my cones. Gonna explain that later. But we can roll it out along the stage here. And then, actually, I'll just leave that up here. And then we have all of our crayons here. So we can take the crayon buckets and put them up there once we have the butcher paper rolled out and cut off, and then have kids come up and draw together their favorite food. I wish I had you could get pictures of some of your favorite food, but I don't get magazines anymore. So I would probably have to hand or print off every type of food that I could think of. So, but drawing should get the trick done. So it'll be a little representation of that feast, and that can give the host or the storyteller an opportunity to share about what the Feast of Pentecost was and what harvest and provision meant. So there's that. We could do that during free play. So as soon as we get into the room and kids kind of settle in, I would definitely prefer the host or the storyteller, because more than likely the other adult will be at the check-in station. And then our junior workers can be helping with bounce house rotations, because not every kid's probably going one color. They might, you never know. They always change it up on me. So, okay, so if we go down through the order of service, everything's normal. We have our, our countdown, our shine, get the party started, our 2 songs, altar call. Don't forget, hosts and storytellers or whoever is doing altar call, to have the kids give an opportunity to raise their hand so that we can count how many salvations we had. Just sliding that in there. Again, it's on PCO, that altar call PDF, and there's one in the Bible on the stage that we keep up there too for you. Confessions, and then our offering, and then our New Testament books of the Bible. And then we have our Remember and Celebrate logo. And then we have, okay, so from Remember and Celebrate down in ProPresenter, just for anybody that happens to look at this video, the rest of that stuff is support for our Remember and Celebrate portion. Remember, that's our big portion of the service. It's like 25 minutes long. So no small groups. Like, this is like where we have fun. Again, so we have our lovely dice game again, and it's looking kind of sad. So I'm gonna revamp this tonight. So I have our images that I'm going to cut out and put on here. But if we walk through our lesson plan here, we have the Let's Chat section. We have a mealtime section, which obviously that's our Remember verse. We had two Remember verses this past 6 weeks. And then we have a sound effect, which is a trumpet. Let's see if I can play it for you. Where you at? Where you at? There we are. Sounds so fancy, doesn't it? And that sound effect, so it walks you through it. It leads you back to when God's people were celebrating the Ark of the Covenant as it was entering Jerusalem. So they had the sounds trumpeting. So that's that part. The wacky wardrobe slide. Okay, so our wacky wardrobe is always something fun, right? Because we have a lot of Bible stories that we have to review and see what the kids remember, but we have to throw some fun in there. So we have a little sound effect for the wacky wardrobe anytime the storyteller rolls it, and this is what it sounds like. Sounds like a game show, doesn't it? So that is our wacky wardrobe sound effect. So in our booklet, it says to have the kids, so you can open up the wardrobe, and every time we roll that, they would do the chicken dance. Okay, but here's my thought. Chicken dance might be fun for some, but I thought, how about a little mini relay game for that portion? So this, and storytellers, feel free to modify. You do not have to do this, but if I was storytelling, this is what I would do for something fun. So I have some cones set up and some scooters. So the cones are on the other end. Now, in order to make this work, if you're going to do this, you're going to have the kids sitting behind the cones back to the sound booth. Okay, so at that point, or maybe before we start Remember and Celebrate, we'll just have everybody scooch back, and then we'll set up those cones, and then they know they have to sit behind the cones, like that bar. In other words, their little fingers might get run over by the scooter. So, but anyways, when you roll the wacky wardrobe, whoever is shining, we can pick out a boy and a girl, and pretty much what they're going to do is they're going to get on their butts on the scooters. I can't even show you. And I fell over. And we're going to scoot. I promise. It's possible. We're going to scoot around the cone. Okay, I'm a little larger than a child. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. And we're going to go back and see who can win. Who can make it. Yeah! I on. So anyways, I just thought that'd be fun. So they're gonna really want you to roll that wacky wardrobe. Why am I out of breath? That's hilarious. I've already worked out today too. So, wacky wardrobe. I don't know if I can show it from this angle. Is that better? Showing you there. So, wacky wardrobe. You could do the chicken dance if you want, or there's an option for a fun little relay race, see who can win, the boy or the girl. That'd be fun. So, that's for that. And then our actual Bible story, or the Wardrobe of Wonder, when you roll that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. Kind of really 5, but of what we're reviewing. And all of those images, those What's It images, are in ProPresenter. So we have the raven, the crayon, the river, the fish, the fancy dress, and the goblet. And just a quick reminder for those stories, if you don't remember all of those Bible stories, the raven had to do with Elijah, and the crayon was concerning King Jehoshaphat. The river was Naaman dipping, the fish Jonah, the dress Esther. But that part of Esther was where she was getting ready to meet the king. You know, that year-long event that took her to get pampered before she saw him. And then the goblet was when Esther wanted to help God's people in Persia who were in trouble because of Haman. So, that is that portion. And then the last portion is our chat and chew. There is a media slide that goes up on the screen for that. And they're just deeper questions to have the kids answer and think about. You know, what are some ways God provides for you? How do you see God providing for your family? You'd be kind of astonished when you actually hear some of those answers. And feel free, if you're on the microphone, to kind of highlight some of those answers. And that is it. That is... I remember and celebrate the Feast of Pentecost or the Feast of Harvest. So I will see you ladies and gentlemen in the morning at prayer at 8:15.